Let's save the rainforest through dance. We saw the forbidden dance. So you know what that means?
Now it's time for How to Discriminate. We're gonna have a good time, celebrate some failure, not just be a hater, cause you know you wonder how to discriminate. Let's wallow in the mediocrity of subpar art. Perhaps we'll find the answer to the question, how did this get made?
Hello, people of Earth, and welcome to How Did This Get Made? Today, we are talking about the 1990 film The Forbidden Dance, not the 1990 film Lambada. That's right. We will talk about those subtle differences.
Wait,
yes.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, we were a few minutes in. Paul said, cue it up. I got everything ready. And then I was starting watching it 10 minutes in. He said, this is the wrong movie. We're supposed to be watching Lambada.
Wait. Well, no. We were supposed to be watching The Forbidden Dance.
No, I know, but you got confused.
Yes.
Did I watch the right movie?
Did you watch a movie with a character named Nisa?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
then we have watched the right movie.
Holy cow, because there was a lot of Lambada in it. A lot of Lambada talk.
Lambada.
But this isn't the movie that was called Lambada. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm sorry. I've already jumped over this, but this is a wild reveal. Okay,
there
great.
was a lawsuit that happened, so there are posters that label this movie Lambada, the Forbidden Dance, but then an injunction made them take away Lambada and just be the Forbidden Dance. But then there was another movie that came out like the same weekend called Lambada.
Wait, the same week came out. They came out the same weekend.
They were
or around the same time.
Yes,
now,
the exact same day.
God, what was going on?
What can you
with
imagine?
us as a people
yes.
that we needed?
It was taking
Lambadas.
over
It was
the
like-
nation.
I know, but you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember when Paul Blart Mall Cop and also I think Mall Cop came out? Like there were
two Mall Cop movies? I remember like Volcano and Dante's Peak. I
Yes.
remember like
I don't know why I'm remembering Mall Cops, but I feel like
You're
there was
right,
a
though. There's a
time
bunch
where-
of like, why are these exactly
It was
the same idea?
Observe and Report with Seth Rogen.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
Paul Blart Mall Cop with Kevin James.
Thank you. Two films about small cops at the exact same time. And it feels just as obscure and just as random as two films about a forbidden dance.
I mean, I was going to...
Do you guys, let me ask you this, just because you guys are younger, do you remember the phenomenon that was like the Lambada and the Forbidden Dance, all this stuff, like close dancing, crotch touching dancing was like truly like so risque and so outrageous that like it needed to be foregrounded in people needed to be like, there needs to be a movie about this.
Well,
you know?
I just looked up the term lambada
Yeah.
because I'm getting really turned around here. Lambada means a fast, erotic Brazilian dance that couples perform with their stomachs touching.
Cool.
Now,
Okay.
But stomachs touching is interesting because that's not what I saw, really.
Here's what I'll say. I mean, that feels like a sanitized way of saying what's also touching is what's right below your stomach.
And that,
You know
to
what I
me,
mean?
this was like a dance. When I understood it, it was a dirty dance. It was like a fucking dance. Like that's what I understood Lambada
Well,
to
she
be.
says it's erotic, and and part of it is like in order for your stomachs to touch while dancing, your legs need to be intertwined.
Yes.
What
Come
you're
closer,
doing
yeah.
is putting your legs in between each other, so you're crotch to crotch.
I think this is more of a grind, like the advent of grinding in dance, right? Because really what I'm looking at another definition of Lambada, and it's saying that dancers generally dance with arched legs. The steps are side to side, even swaying. At a time that the dance became popular, which was 1990, short skirts for women were in fashion and men were wearing long trousers. And so it was like this idea that like the women's skirts are swirling up as she spins around, and kind of having thong underwear on was a part of this as well. So I think it was just, you're seeing a lot.
This is like again when there's perfect examples of it shown early on of how like Jason and Ashley dance.
Right.
And how like all the white people dance is like, that's how people danced in this time, just like all upper body nonsense,
Yeah.
But here's my issue though. is, oh God, I don't even know where to begin. I'm glad we're starting with just the pure definition of lambada, because
this is important.
This is important. This is actually important context and an important, setting of the stage, because to me, what I'm seeing is the lambada is a couple's dance. We're talking about stomachs touching, we're talking about crotches touching. For a lot of this movie, our main character, Nisha, is dancing the lambada on her own.
Well, she's doing like solo lambada. It's a kind of masturbation. In my mind, that's what I feel like the movie is showing.
I feel like what the movie, this is a Golan and Globus movie, right?
Yes.
Am I right? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like very much in this movie, the dance scenes are the sex scenes.
Right.
They are,
and
in order to make this PG-13, the sex scenes are instead dance scenes, whether it's solo dancing, quote unquote, or not. Like, they are, but let's be clear. She says that it is forbidden in Brazil to dance this dance because it's so erotically charged. And what we see over and over and over again is when she dances the lambada, it causes men to go feral. Men begin to just attack, like, throughout the entire movie. It is absolutely every man is correctly portrayed as a true predator villain in this movie.
Well, because they've lost their
control
goddamn
themselves.
mind.
Yes.
I mean, the idea
because they need that rainforest to get burned.
I mean, now
this is a climate change movie.
Yes, we're going to get into all of this. Now, I just want to say that while this movie is called The Forbidden Dance, there were no formal government bans on this dancing, right? It was the idea, though, I think, that we were in a conservative time. This dance then kind of broke through those barriers, and it became like the number one song on the pop charts for a couple of weeks. So, I mean, again, I was going to save this for the end, but I think it's worth bringing up here. In December of 1989, the producers said, hey, we need to make a lambada dance. I really want you to keep these numbers in your head. December of 89.
So I was just about to turn 10. Okay, I'm putting myself there.
I wasn't born. And they go, we need a script. 10 days later, they get a script. Okay, 10 days later, they get a script.
It's a quick
In January, they start shooting. The movie is released in March.
Feels like a rush job.
It is the quickest film ever to be basically conceived, written, shot, and released. So much so that Roger Ebert visited the set to be like, this is the craziest thing ever. It was delivered to Columbia Pictures one day before the film's release, just to be
then you know what?
out the day of the other movie.
Then you know what? They did a great job.
I'm more impressed than before because I will say there is many times in my notes where I'm like, why are they dancing? They haven't yet met. Why are they already at a dance club together? There's so much connective tissue that the movie just does not give you. It just cuts from basically set piece to set piece, montage to montage. But given the information you just told me, by the way, well done. It still holds together, and they save the rainforest at the end.
Well, I mean, the movie is so dedicated to the rainforest. We
wouldn't be here without this movie, to be honest. I don't know that we would.
For
breathable air.
Such a progressive plot for 1990. If you are wondering what we are talking about, I'll quickly tell you that this movie is about Nisa, a native Brazilian princess who travels to L.A. to stop an American corporation from destroying her rainforest home. When Nisa gets to L.A., she winds up working as a maid for a Beverly Hills family where they have a son who loves dance, Jason. Jason and Nisa go out dancing, but Jason's friends hate Nisa because she's simply different.
Well, I mean, no, they are bigots.
They're bigots.
Be very clear. They are
straight up
hateful, racist bigots.
Yes.
And in every single way, they are villains.
And everyone really in this movie is a straight up racist. We can dig into all this. Just if you've not seen it, I will say Nisa then is disregarded by this group. She's out on the street. She starts working in a club that's also like a brothel, but she's not doing the brothel stuff. She's just doing dancing.
That's what they always say.
And it's also like a leather club, but we'll get into that. And then finally, Jason rescues rescues Nisa from this brothel, and they decide that they need to work together to stop this company from destroying the rainforest. And the only way to do that is to get on a television dance contest so they can
spread the word.
And that's like the brief overview. We're going to get into the witch doctors. We're going to get into Jason's girlfriend, Ashley. But that's just a little bit of the plot of The Forbidden Dance. Again, not Lambada.
Yeah.
Not Lambada the movie, but the Lambada.
That is blowing my mind. I thought I just watched Lambada.
No.
Also,
did you watch La Bamba?
Oh, I've watched La Bamba. Don't worry about it. They played the song Lambada, I'm going to say conservatively 35 times in the movie.
It was when it came on at the end, I was like, wow.
It is the music in the movie, the song rather, is relentless.
Like you said, it's just like this is a movie that was conceived and released within 90 days. So it is truly like filling time. Filling time.
And
I
it's
mean,
so tough because I'm gonna be so for real right now. I'm gonna be so for real.
Oh God. All right, hold on.
The dancing from our lead, Nisa, is terrible.
Wow.
And she may be doing a wonderful portrayal of the lambada. That might be just exactly what that looks like. I don't care. It's so horrible and strange, and there's nothing to me. I mean, I guess you're both you can speak to it, but there was nothing erotic. There was one scene with her in the curtain. The curtain work.
Very good. Yeah, where she's grinding into the curtain. I remember that scene very well.
She had more chemistry with that curtain.
Unlike Paul, I don't watch our movies on like 2 times speed. But
I didn't watch this on
scenes, there's some scenes I will watch at 0.5, and that one I watched at 0.5.
Well, by the way, sometimes this movie is slowed down to 0.5 when they want to show something like a glass. Like this movie slows down to be like, hey, if we're gonna run through a hut, we're gonna do it in slow mo. Like we need to get every moment.
The thing that blew my mind, to June's point, is there's a point in the movie where there is the quintessential training montage where they are meeting day after day after day after day to rehearse the lambada. They're in different outfits. They're rehearsing to the song. Same place so that they can get on the Kid Creole and the Coconuts audition and get passed by Mama Coconut wearing an Amy Sherman Palladino hat. But
can I just say the Kid Creole and the Coconuts does not speak to me as a large televised audience, but yet they are treating this as if it is the finale of one of the biggest shows on television.
It's American Idol.
Totally. At its height.
I loved the small stakes of it, though. I loved the small stakes the movie had. That no room ever has more than about 15 people in it, even crowded clubs. But anyway, sorry. My point was, to June's point, we see them training for what appears to be weeks, working on the dance, and they never get better. And in fact, when they do the audition, they seem to be worse. Like I was and then they've gotten worse at this.
Yeah, the final product is pretty bad as well. The funniest thing about that training montage, though, is, I was thinking back to like the training montage in Dirty Dancing, which to me is one of the finest training montages in any movie.
I carried the watermelon.
They're on the log, and we know the move that they're going for. Right. We know that's the big lift coming up at the end, right? And they're going over it and they're going over it. And there's frustration. Sometimes she's laughing. Sometimes she gets tickled. There's so many ways in which they deal with that big lift and that whole dance sequence. In this, they get frustrated by a turn in and a turn out. And then they get both of them very mad at each other. And it's not like, it's like they're fucking pissed.
Yeah.
They're so mad at each other.
Think they actually have a connection.
What's what's also interesting is she's a master. He's a learner.
Right.
It's not framed like that. It's not framed like that. It's almost like they're equals, and they're not. He needs to be learning from her so that the catharsis of the movie, he's baby. Let's be clear. He's
Right.
baby.
Don't ever say that again.
And don't ever put him in a corner.
Ever say that again. And don't
That
put him
Jason
in the
is
corner.
baby?
Don't put baby in the
Jason
corner.
is baby.
Jason
You don't want me to
not
say
baby.
Jason is baby?
Jason is not baby.
I just want to give it to people so they can clip it. Jason is baby? Okay, cool. Thank you.
Well, I mean, look, again, this movie is about a company from California that is just destroying the rainforest in Brazil. They are coming through, letting all the natives know, hey, get out of here because we're burning this. We're burning it to the ground, not chopping it down. They're burning down the rainforest. For what end? We don't know. It's Rutger Hauer's twin brother.
Oh my God. I wrote American Rutger Hauer too.
Yeah.
I wrote American Rutger Hauer. I love that. Thank you.
That guy. And so he comes in, very harshly drives his Jeep through one of their huts. And then to me, my favorite part is when they are leaving out of anger, they just drive over a small tree, like the equivalent of like what the sad Christmas tree is in the Peanuts Christmas special. Like they just drive, it's like they clearly are, we could do that. We could drive, we could hit that tree and it won't be that big of a deal.
Well, by the way, though, when they're driving through that hut, this is where I was getting so confused because I thought that looked like a bridal hut. That looked like, she was maybe in there to get ready or to go into afterwards.
Yeah, Nisa is, I think, getting married. That's what I thought.
Oh, God, who was that guy? She never mentions him again.
No, I mean, look,
No.
Nisa, we are told that Nisa has spent a lot of time in the States studying the white man.
Oh, I didn't even
that's
hear
her
that.
own choice of words. Yeah, she goes, I've been there because she's like, let me deal with this, guys. I'll talk to Rutger Hauer. Hey, I know the white man. But then when she does come to LA, it does seem like she's never studied the white man because the way that she says, and I don't want to be one of these racists in the movie, but the way that she says chairman, it felt to me like she was saying a man that is also a chair. Like,
which I enjoyed. I loved that
I really enjoyed her.
Now, here's the thing. I need to discuss Jason. Because Jason.
Not me. Not
Jay's,
no,
Jay's
not
son.
You, Jason. Because
so rarely do we find Jasons in our movies.
Yeah, this is a good
one. This was a good one.
Well, this Jason was presented when he was first in that bed, and she gets a job in that house, and the woman's walking her through, and she opens the door and says, "Hey, don't clean in here if he's in here," and he's passed out on that bed.
Yeah,
that's my son. He's ne'er do well. I thought, okay, he's 18. If he's 19,
great.
He's just out of high school.
I also have this question.
Okay, wonderful, young
yes.
buck, ideally, yeah. And because she's very young now, Paul. I'm watching these movies in post the last Epstein email drop. I'm not like okay as a person after reading all of them, and I was like, how young is she? She looks too young.
And I'm quickly Googling 26
or 26. Okay, great. But I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna be a teenager. The next shot we see of him, he looks like a middle-aged man.
It's inappropriate that he still lives at home and is being treated like a child by his parents. He's a grown man.
In the movie Wall Street, like he looks, that's how he carries himself. It looks like he doesn't have the hair of even a teenager.
He doesn't he doesn't even have a baby face. You know what it is? Him and all his friends, Ashley and Weed, and I wrote the names down somewhere. They all have a bunch of shitty names. They look like they are the runoff of the Brat Pack.
Yes.
They look like they're in a St. Elmo's Fire ripoff movie. They look like they are adults. They should not be. They seem to be portraying high school kids, and they are not at all.
Well, you know what it was? It was, Jessica and I were talking about how the young kids, if they think someone's unattractive, they'll call them chopped. Their face is kind of chopped. And then if they think they look like a celebrity, but like not as good looking, they'll call them a choppleganger. And that's what I felt like about all of the guys in this movie. They all looked like chopplegangers, like that they should be those guys we remember from that time. And they are so not. I mean, our Jason, I want to talk about his hair, and I'm so glad you brought it up because the infrastructure.
Yeah, go for it.
the infrastructure of his hair is, I spent the entire movie just trying to figure it out. The highways and the byways, the mainframe was so confusing.
What's interesting about watching old stuff, both for this and also when I'm watching old episodes of Law and Order or old whatevers that, I'm old movies and stuff, is you really are shocked to remember. We've become so desensitized. Everybody now has some version of the same hairline. Everybody now has some version of the same, some version of the same stuff. We now have figured enough things out that you forget that even then, back then, young people, you had to reckon with receding hairlines in their 20s. And you watch it on Moonlighting, so much so that they have to start making jokes in the show about David Addison losing his hair because he can't go to Turkey and get a hair plug situation.
I told you the story, I think, but I'll tell it quickly here that when I was a child, I was such a fan of Moonlighting that I went to my barber hairstylist and I said, "Can you make me look like this?" And I gave him a picture of Bruce Willis from Moonlighting, and they said, "That's a receding hairline." And I was like, I want it. And luckily, my babysitter was like, "Don't know. We have to make sure his mom is okay."
But that's the thing is, like, many of the sex symbols of the time, Bruce Willis, Corbin Burnson, like, people had receding hairlines, thinning hair.
That's wonderful. And you're right. I do think there was definitely a diversity to hairline that we don't see anymore. And that's too bad. And I totally get that. I think what I'm also saying, though, is like, we're talking about the front. I'm also talking about the back. It's both very long and sometimes quite short. It's so confusing. And there are times where he's dancing and you'll see the back lift up.
Yeah.
And it is so strange.
Oh, no, the whole situation.
Well, but that whole
especially
thing.
For someone who's in constant motion.
But here, I'm going to say, like, I can speak to this as a man who is bald. Like, when you are losing it, you don't want to cut it from any other spot. You're like, I'm disguising it. And you see it all the time.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
You see it for the puffed out the sides, it's the long, the back. It's like, no.
Trump. Yeah.
You got it all over the place. Now, look.
Is his hair? Wait.
No, he has good hair. Yeah. Before
he's got great hair.
Great hair, right? All right, well, we'll leave that on the side. Here's what I will say. The hair that I loved is, of course, the witch doctor who just said, you know what? I'm losing it, and I am going to go. To me, this looks like a Fred Armisen character. I
thought he was great.
He was amazing. That is Joa is his name?
Joa.
Yeah.
Joa. Joa is the tribal shaman who is up to a lot of stuff. I mean,
he's got straight up magic. This guy is literally doing magic. And everybody's just like, oh, cool. He does magic. Okay, we're in.
Why not? What I was fascinated by, so the character, I can't remember her name. She finds Nisha asleep
Carmen.
By a fountain. Carmen, thank you.
Carmen is her name.
So
the horniest character in the movie.
And by the way, I'm gonna be so for real again. The best dancing in the movie, as far as I'm concerned, is by Carmen in her own apartment, just vibing out and seducing Joa.
Because she's playing air drums.
She's so free with her movement. She feels like she's moving to a song, and everybody else feels like they're trying to remember steps.
And
does that make sense?
Energy, yes. Yeah. She had energy, and it was interesting. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm enjoying this, and it was surprising. And she was giving everything she had. You're right. Everybody else was like marking the beats.
Yes, and trying to remember what the steps are.
Yeah.
It felt like they had been taught stuff versus. Carmen just felt like she was living her best life. And I was like, give me the Carmen movie.
But by the way, is that part of the black magic of Joa? Because we do know that Joa's he can shoot fireworks out of his hand. He's got a little sack that freezes you. And so he starts air drumming there. And it seems like, he's just keeping himself entertained. But maybe he's like possessing the air. Like he's kind of puppeteering Carmen. I don't know, because when he's air drumming, she gets so into it.
That's an interesting read.
I feel like he's more powerful than we even know.
Oh yeah, he is like making,
He's like making love. Yes,
big cat sounds. He's roaring like a tiger at points or something. He's doing all sorts of stuff. When he leaves, when they somehow, I couldn't figure out why they needed to raise money to send him back home.
No idea.
They do, and he shows back up
Carmen.
at the end. Yes, and
doesn't seem
I'm
to
like,
have a lot of expendable cash.
And why would Carmen want to get rid of him? Aren't they in love now? I'm rooting for them more than I am Jason and Nisa.
I think they needed to send him home to get the king, because the king does make the appearance at the end of the movie.
Yes, on the Kid Creole and the Coconuts show.
Yes, so we got to get the king, because I guess the original plan was, let's send Nisa, our daughter, who knows the way of the white man, to break into the corporation of Petrimaco, and a name that just kind of falls off the tongue. And I don't know what her plan was besides just kind of breaking into his office and saying,
talk to him, I guess.
And so when that plan goes awry, Joa gets arrested. She's now left just alone in the city. They have no plan. The plan is over the minute they don't get into the CEO's office. So then the plan is, let's win a dance contest to get the word out about the destruction of the rainforest.
But even that's not a plan until much later, because first she becomes a maid, then she loses that job, but meets Jason. Then she works in the dance club / brothel.
By the way, that's
I need to
upsetting.
talk about the woman who has a switchblade in her bra.
Eyebrows?
Eyebrows.
I was obsessed with. I'm obsessed with 70s and 80s movies obsession with switchblades. Which I think is a 1950s nostalgia for like greaser switchblades, like
it feels dirty.
The gangs of the 50s, like Fonzie switchblade type stuff. But like her having a switchblade just like click, as if that's the most threatening thing that's ever existed.
Well, I think that guy thinks that she's going to chop off his dick. Because, by the way, that guy who just gets out of the one of the brothel rooms, is immediately done, comes out shirt off, looking like a real poor man's Al Bundy, stomach out, just kind of goes up to Nisa, says like, "You're next."
Speaking of June, this might as well have been filmed on Little St. James. I don't know where this place was.
Very terrible.
But it is. I'm pretty sure some of our cabinet members were in there.
Yeah, and that main lady was a real Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, it was real. It was really
She's like,
upsetting.
she'll get comfortable. When
Okay,
she's comfortable, you can come back.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I mean, but
just
meanwhile,
because I just found it, his friends' names are Dave, Kurt, and Weed.
Oh, my God. And by the way, they are all, like we said, they are all straight up racist. Like, they meet Nisa.
Rapists. They're rapists and racist. And
yes.
Honestly, one of the big problems I had with this movie was their apology at the end, which is such a non-apology. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry we lost control. And then she says, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. And we move on.
She's forgiving. I mean, she saw them for what they are, and she'll never trust them again.
How about this? You know who never apologizes and never gets their comeuppance is fucking Ashley, who sucks so hard and is the worst villain of the entire movie. When she's in the car with American Rutger Hauer, and he says, "You're just like your mother," and she says, "I'm outside like her, but inside I'm all daddy." And he like holds her face in his hand. I was like, I want this car to blow up.
I hated every second of it.
Well, it looks like you've taken after your mother.
Only on the outside. Inside, I am all daddy.
You must be one confused little girl.
Hardly. Now, you're still the hired gun for Petramco, aren't you?
What do you want?
It seems we have a mutual acquaintance. A certain Indian princess.
I know an Indian princess.
Oh, please, save your act for the unwashed. I know she's as big a pain in the ass for Petramco as she is for me. So, I thought it's about time we do something about her.
Where can I find her?
At this club, Creation, Jason and Nisa have been rehearsing here every afternoon. They're preparing a dance audition for the Kid Creole show, and if they make the audition, they're on national TV.
I won't allow that to happen.
Well, I didn't think you would.
We can't let them go on TV and preach anti-American propaganda now, can we, Ashley?
What are you going to do to her?
Let's just say I wouldn't do anything you wouldn't approve of.
Awful. And I was like, she's a real villain, and nothing. She never has any.
Well, she doesn't win. She doesn't get to perform on Kid Creole and the Coconuts.
No, she doesn't get to do that.
She doesn't have the talent to even do that.
I do believe she is someone who now would be like full MAGA.
She does hire somebody, right? That guy. Does she hire that cowboy guy, like to come and like kind of wreck the show at the end?
I think what she does. I couldn't actually figure out what her plan was.
She sells them out to American Rutger Hauer,
yes, right.
who works for Petra Company,
right?
So that he then gets them kidnapped. And
how is she getting a line into the Petrimaco or whatever? Like
her daddy.
Who knows? Her dad used to work with him.
Okay, and then why is Rutger Hauer back in the States?
He's like a behind the scenes fixer. He's like a villain fixer.
Got it.
Who works with all the big corporate, villains to help them make the ozone worse, I guess.
I mean, this is look. We can't dig in on the climate change is very hard to kind of break down. This is why people don't believe it exists. This movie, I think, simplifies.
We didn't move the cause forward with this.
Well, look, I mean,
so many of the clumsy themes of this movie could not be more prescient for right now. It is chilling.
But by the way, I did feel like everyone in this movie was MAGA, though.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many like slurs in this movie. First of all, she's Brazilian.
Casual slurs.
Casual. And like, she's Brazilian.
And there are times, though, before she opens her mouth and has any sort of like Portuguese accent, they all are like scum. Trash. I'm like, if you are you are racist. We're gonna find out in 2 seconds. But on what basis? Right now, in this moment, she has brown hair.
By the way,
it's wild.
They are also in Beverly Hills. They are in Los Angeles, right? Even in the 90s, I have to imagine that these people live in a diverse city, and they treat like Beverly, like take that shit to the East Side clubs as if
you'd
like.
Be surprised how MAGA Beverly Hills.
I get it, but I mean,
I'm not surprised.
Paul's always defending the rich.
Well, I mean, I try to, because they keep me fed. I will. There was a really funny line when she gets all those like slurs out, but she doesn't really take them in, and then she starts dancing. But she does say to Nisa does say to Jason. She said, I wrote this down. 50 years ago, the government of Brazil forbid this dance because it's too sexy. For it to be
years ago.
For it to be
That's
too
like
sexy for Brazil.
In the 40s? That's pretty amazing.
I guess maybe in the 40s. I guess in the 40s you couldn't do this dance.
Yeah.
But when she does it, like I guess I feel like the dance with the curtain was sexier than what we ever see on TV. Like this never feels.
The lambada is a terrible dance. It's not a dance. It's sort of like a hip movement. It's completely soulless and joyless. I hated it.
You want to feel like you're watching two people fuck, and I guess we answered the first question, which is like, I don't know if I want to watch Jason fuck, and I don't think that she is as good as a dancer she was best when she was alone.
It's interesting because we have existed, most of our lives have existed in what I would say is like a renaissance of dance movies.
Right.
Subsequent to this movie, we have a lot of very good dance movies that have populated the 90s and 2000s. Prior to this, I think, June, you're mentioning Dirty Dancing. There really were very few movies that had dance as a component to it. And I do think this movie, and I suspect Lambada, which I thought we had watched, were really all about the erotic nature of dance being transgressive.
Well, yeah, and it's also dance is usually in most dance movies, dance is a class issue. Dance is an economic differentiator, and it is sort of in this movie too. Although I know what you're saying, Jason, about like the white Beverly Hills people in the dance club are sort of just using their arms. I actually couldn't quite figure out what the real difference was in the dancing even. It didn't seem like watching Ashley dancing.
It was just the closeness of their crotches. I feel like the camera is telling you what's different. the camera's telling you by focusing on their midsections. It's saying this is the controversial thing we are willing to show. This movie is about this. And this is so outrageous that it's making people in the crowd want to reach out and touch them because they're so absolutely turned on by this crazy dancing, you know.
But now,
I think what they're trying to tell you. That's what I think. I'm doing a little work for the movie, but I think that's what it's unsuccessful, but that's what it's trying to show.
But the Calypso or King Clam or whatever his name is, he is also
Kid Creole and the Coconuts, very real band. How dare you?
Kid Creole and the Coconuts, which they do perform a song that I had a lot of problems with. Was it called The Horror?
I loved that song.
That was the best song in the movie.
I mean, that was
me as well.
I feel like they're kind of like Latin, disco, Caribbean, so they're open to this kind of music. Like, I guess the idea is like Kid Creole is the only person that will accept this kind of dancing.
I don't even know if that's
I don't know.
the case.
I mean,
I think this is just the audition that's happening.
And I would say that could be true if our other dancers like Ashley, et cetera, weren't trying so desperately to also win a spot on the Kid Creole competition.
Yeah, because if Nisa hadn't shown up, Jason and Ashley would have been doing regular dancing to try and get in on Kid Creole and the Coconuts. You know, that is just the audition that's available that is going to, I guess, be the platform that changes the world.
I mean,
when it's
say,
revealed, when Kid Creole like takes in the information from the king and from our witch doctor and from Nisha and Jason, this company and they're making plus, and they're on every product and they're causing this and they're taking over, and Kid Creole is like kind of takes it in like, oh wow, okay, and then he's like, yeah, I mean, man, I guess I'm not going to buy any of those products anymore.
The same Petramco that we find on the supermarket shelves.
That's the one. We buy products they make every day.
Not me, not anymore. The rainforest is too important. I say if Petramco is destroying the rainforest, well then we should just boycott their ass.
Okay, back to dancing.
He says we should boycott their stuff. And that is the last line of the movie. There's no more dialogue.
No,
it's just dancing.
And it's also like, I guess my point is it feels like for all that, the end moment is like, yeah, maybe.
Right.
Wouldn't you love to live in that world? Wouldn't you love to live in a world in which people can win a dance contest, get on Kid Creole and the Coconuts on TV, he calls for a boycott, and substantial change happens?
Well, but to me, I'm also like, we don't know what this company even does.
I'd love to know what their products are.
Like, we don't know what they like. It feels to me like they could be drilling for oil. We don't know what they are doing. So to boycott their products, it does feel like oh, okay, well, I wonder what they're behind. Like, because it doesn't say, hey, we should stop buying their toilet paper and they're this and they're that. He just says, let's stop. And I guess, I don't know, for an audience of 600 to 700 people. Again, this looks like a very local show. It looks like a very local show. Although I did say to June while we were watching it, are those cue cards intentional or are they indicative of the shorter period of time of making this film? Because
I think they were trying to show there's a TV show filming. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
that is a visual cue to tell you this is a TV show.
Got it.
Because there weren't a lot of other visual cues to tell you this was the TV show.
Right, because it looks exactly like the same club that you saw in the beginning. It just looks like
another scene in the dance club.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I have a question. How did the shaman fly back from Brazil with a snake in his bag?
Well, I mean, using black magic. I mean,
a very big snake. I mean, is that bag like a Hermione Granger bag that has like a limitless volume inside
Jason,
of it?
Let's ask one question before that. How did they both get here without passports? They don't seem to have any ID, any money. They just seem to have gotten on a plane. I think actually one of the characters does say like, "How did you get here?" And she's like, "Never mind that. Let's put that on the side over here."
I did find it kind of crazy that she put on her boss's dress and went out in it.
Well, her son gave it. Didn't the son give it to her?
Yeah.
Yes, but we don't see them meet. She sees him passed out on the bed, and the next scene, they're walking into the club, and she's saying, I feel bad.
No, he's checking her out. Right? Isn't he checking? Because
He
when
checks
she's
her out
dancing
during
with
the
the
curtain dance, but then he gets on the phone with Ashley, and Ashley's like, I
Yeah.
can't go tonight. And he's
Right.
oh, he's so mad. And cut to
Yeah.
Nisha walking in with him. We never see
Yeah.
what happened there and how she got his mom's dress.
Yeah, and also how it fits her so good.
Fits
That
her
mom's
perfectly, and
body
then
must be incredible.
And then then she marches back into the house like ain't nothing happened here.
Yeah, that was a bad look for Nisa.
The mom's
was,
real
Nisa.
concern seems to be dry cleaning. She's like, I just had now I got to bring it back to the dry cleaner. Like, as if she sweats so much in it.
Well,
I
I
would
mean,
bring
they
it to the
did
dry
go
cleaner.
dancing.
Yeah, I would bring it to the dry cleaner, Paul.
I mean, they never look like they're catching a sweat. And we've watched plenty. I've watched To Save the
She
Last
doesn't
Dance.
know
I've
that.
seen.
I mean, I'm getting that dress dry cleaned.
Oh, you have to get it dry
absolutely.
cleaned.
Yeah.
You got to get it dry cleaned. Drag queened.
Drag queened?
Drag queen.
We
You got to get
that
it
dress drag queen.
You got to
Wait,
get the
what?
drag queens back in it. Man, oh man. So, all right. So
I loved how scared the parents were that he was dancing so much. Jason repeatedly turns down alcohol because he's driving. We never see them doing drugs. He's portrayed as nothing but a genuinely good boy whose only vice is dancing.
Yep.
The best line was at one point during this conversation where his parents are really going after him for dancing. He says, "Mother, I dance."
Your father and I don't feel it's fair to us that you spend your time running in and out of dance clubs.
Mother, I dance. I like it, and I'm good at it.
I mean, this is very
funny.
Footloose coded. Like, I mean, they're like,
Yes.
we're from Beverly Hills. We don't dance, which would then also, if I'm writing this movie, and again, they only wrote in 10
wish
days,
you
so give
would.
him a lot of credit. Like, he should be leaving Beverly Hills to go downtown, to go to different clubs.
See how the other side
That's
dances?
where
Wouldn't
he's
that be
dancing.
great? Well,
Well-
that's the thing. Baby goes to where the other people are dancing sexy, not how
Yes.
Patrick Swayze's teaching like proper like ballroom dancing at the resort, but they're doing dirty dancing
By
in the
night.
club at night, and Baby has to go there. Jason Baby doesn't go anywhere to learn the lambada. The lambada just comes to him,
And he's
which
basically
is
dancing
strange.
at
Jason Baby needs a Swayze.
we do. I
Jason
mean,
Baby needs a Swayze. That's the T-shirt.
there it is, Molly.
It's a personal ad. It's a personal ad. Jason Baby needs a Swayze.
Oh, I love that. I do believe that like even the club that they're at is essentially like the Max from Saved by the Bell at night, right? It's like
Oh
it's
my God.
you know, it looks just like the Max, and there's nothing but going on. But then when the DJ plays, "Hey, I'm going to play the lambada," the entire dance floor clears out.
Yeah.
Like no one's on the dance floor but them. And I'm like, at that point, you're a bad DJ because you're playing a song that clears the dance floor and you don't change a damn
No.
thing. So the
But
DJ,
what's also interesting is then Nisa and Jason step out and they start dancing, and it's going so well that everybody jumps in and is like turned on by the music. Like the movie is
That's
trying to
part of the
tell us.
lambada.
I feel like the rest of the movie's plot wants us to believe they're the underdogs, but like every time they do the dance, it catches on. So they are
Somehow.
nothing but like they're not being held down; they're only being lifted up in every
Right.
Immediately.
every one of the dance sequences. You know,
So I guess the idea is like it's taking everybody by storm, but we never really get that because even his friends at the end, they apologize for being racist, but I think they're really apologizing just because they won the
Rapists.
contest. And rapist. But I do also want to talk about the power of this dance because I do think there is something to be said for like how it hypnotizes men. When we see those men, look, they're creepy, but they also seem completely hypnotized by her.
Do you
Like, I mean,
Dina,
like,
do you mean the 3 or 4 men in a dance circle?
yes, in the business
Okay.
suits,
In
just
the
staring
business
at
suits?
her.
That
Yeah, while
was so
people in
distressing
leather-
to me.
People in leather, like it's a leather club. I mean, there are people in full like S&M gear on a stage and on platforms. She's on the dance floor. Yeah,
I will say there's a confusing amount of contradictory subcultures represented in very few number of people in this club.
Yes.
What's
That's
weird,
why I'm like, we might be reading too much because there's not a lot of people to look at.
yeah, and everybody seems to represent a different subsect of the culture or of a subculture, I just felt like the movie, they just were throwing everything at the movie. And in a lot of ways, nothing ends up sticking because you're just like, what am I following exactly? And boy, do I wish they would be getting better at dancing, and they are just not.
Yeah, they are just not. You know that.
Now I am. I mean, this movie. Look, did it make me question, what these companies are doing to the rainforest? Absolutely. Why? Because I was brought in through sex. Sex sells. Why aren't we doing more sex with our PSAs? Like, that's what I think that I'm getting from this movie. Let's make sexy PSAs from now on.
Okay.
Show a little butt, show a little leg, show a little chest. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the word out.
This is a movie that is about an erotically charged dance at a time that is very conservative. Like, we're coming out of the very conservative 80s, the religious right, the Reagan era kind of conservatism that is, and we're about to be in the period of the PMRC and labeling music.
Thank you. Finally talking about what this movie's trying to get out there. Yes.
And the Lambada was
Nelson Mandela is about to get out of jail. Manuel Noriega is finally captured, right? And Germany was reunified.
I guess I just wish it was a sexy dance.
I would love it. I would love it as well.
I just wish it was.
I do too.
You know what confounded me? When they arrive at Carmen's apartment and she offers that she and Nisa sleep on the couches in the living room and that Jason has the bed. And I was and now I know he's just been beat up, right? Like, that's
he's always
fine.
throwing punches, though.
That's fine. But you're not going to catch me offering a man a bed while I sleep on the couch. Like, that was just so
He's too
wild
tall for
to
the
me.
couch, June.
The movie both wants Jason to be, he needs to learn from Nisa, but also it's a white savior movie for him. You know what I mean? Like, it is. It's trying to have it both ways, which is, just terrible. And he is like the prince who is like, oh, well, you're the man, so you get the bed and we'll be out here. But I couldn't then figure out, and I'll just push back one level, is Carmen trying to carve out space for Jason and Nisa to have the bed together? Is she like, foresee it? She's like, because she's basically like, why don't you go get in there? And then she slides a condom under the door. So maybe
but I guess
part of it.
In my mind, I'm Carmen. I'm doing a lot of physical labor during the day. I'm going to sleep in my own bedroom. Okay, I'm a grown fucking woman. I'm going to sleep in my own bedroom, and I will retire early and let you two young bucks
befoul my couch.
Have the couch and do what you need to do out there. But I'm not offering up my bed for a stranger to have sex in. A strange man. It's just absurd.
But June, don't you think that she's doing that for the good of the rainforest? She's like, they have to fuck so they win the contest.
So that he can save the day. So white man can save the day?
Yeah, this is
movie
the thing.
has. You know what this movie, interestingly, in contrast to so many of our other movies, this movie has zero exposition dumps. This movie has no plot recaps. No characters ever say what their plan is or what they're trying to do or recap where they are in the process. It is just happening it feels as though the movie is happening to them in real time.
Well, you said this thing about, you said, oh, well, they're practicing for weeks. I believe that this whole movie takes place over the course of 4 or 5 days. Yeah.
Same. And I was
just
trying to
based that
understand.
on outfit changes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. But it also, I had the same thought as Paul. I'm like, I think this is maybe the 48-hour period. But
maybe
I also couldn't understand how much time went by at the club, because I kind of think we were supposed to believe that because of the lambada, because of her prize lambada lady, that business was booming because they had that sign out there.
Well, right.
There's more men than we've seen so far.
Right. They're making a lot of money there. They're making a lot of money.
You mean?
Switchblade lady, yeah. And then our security guard is in a really nice suit all of a sudden. So I'm like, oh, is she?
I love that security guard.
You know, she the big whale. Like, is she really like making coin here?
She's in demand. They're setting her up to both be this incredibly desired dancer who is also pure. She doesn't do any of the upstairs work. They say so many times that she hasn't yet taken anybody upstairs into like the bedrooms, you know, and then she says to Jason, I'll take you upstairs so you're my first, you know,
right.
Which I was like, what is happening in this movie? That was the
only scene, though, that was at least, now I didn't understand it because she switches like seconds later and is like trying to save him, but at least in that moment where she's like so angry with him and angry about everything that's happened, and she's telling him she's going to take him upstairs, and he's like, no, I don't want you to. At least I was like, oh, something interesting is happening between these two people. I don't really understand why, but I am engaged in whatever conflict this is.
Well, wouldn't it have been interesting if the movie, I mean, and this isn't the movie we watched, obviously, but if the movie was interrogating him, Richie Rich Beverly Hills Kid, really having to go into another world because of meeting and encountering this woman. And really, it is about, like you were saying, June, class, and it is about, you know, race, and it is about all these elements that are in this movie, but are just really not being spoken to, really.
Yeah.
Right. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have time for that, guys. It doesn't have time for that. All right.
We got to do the lambada again.
I mean, this guy, we're realizing that through dance, he's not a racist like all of his friends. He's also not a rapist like all of his friends. Yeah, he's in Beverly Hills, but maybe sleeping during the day, and he's a vampire. Like, you know, he's getting his life force from something different. And I don't know. I feel like that.
Love if it turned out that he was a vampire.
I would love to see. I mean, he's more physically violent than I would assume for a character like this. He breaks the traditional mold of a Beverly Hills rich kid. He doesn't have any of those things, like, you know, and I feel like he's always throwing punches in fights that he is not going to win. And what does he break his ankle from? Like a 4-foot drop?
Falling.
But
falling like so little. Yes,
so
you're right.
little,
It's
like
so little,
like a curb is like a double curb. You know,
such a short way.
and
luckily,
it also
is like he's hanging there for like maybe 6 or 7 seconds. He has zero upper body strength. Like he could have held on for long. He is,
which is shocking because so much of his Beverly Hills dancing is upper body.
Is just upper body. You'd think his shoulders and arms would be just jacked.
I laughed so hard when he fell. I mean, it was truly such a short distance.
Well,
that I was also like, you knew you were falling that distance. Like, if I was up there, I would look down. You have the time to kind of cushion that fall as best as possible. I did not think there was any reason he should have broken ankles.
Yeah.
Especially as a dancer.
Oh, yeah. But thank God the shaman is there with the snake to heal him.
Thank
with
God.
A venomous snake bite, I assume. I mean, incredible stuff.
And by the way,
think it's interesting. It's something that I find captivating about this is she is positioned in a way that is people are captivated by her. People cannot take their eyes off of her. Her movement is hypnotic. Everything. People are driven feral by her presence. And what is it? 20 years later, she plays such a similar role in Mulholland Drive.
Oh yeah,
Laura Herring. You know, like still has this magnetic appeal that David Lynch uses to be like, oh, I cannot. This person is entrancing in some way. This person is somehow captivating me in some way. There's a link there that I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is Laura Herring from Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Well, listen, she is captivating.
She is.
Oh yeah.
She's like a 5-time Miss America, right? Yes. Like she's got like a crazy past.
But here's the problem with the movie. Laura Herring is absolutely captivating, and I could watch her all day, but she's not captivating as a dancer.
No.
And if we had just photographed her and filmed her in this movie doing something else and leaving I think she would be captivating. But in inside this movie, once she's dancing and we're not really just on her face, it falls apart.
No, the movie needed, because dance is the transaction that needs to like emotionally get you there. The dancing just doesn't seal the deal. I would be curious, and perhaps forgive me, Paul, if this research has already been done.
Yeah, please.
I would be curious for us to do the other Lambada movie.
Well, this is viewed as the worst of the two, but I am so down to take you up on that because, again...
And maybe it's not worth it, and I genuinely mean that. I'm not saying we should, but I'm curious. Sure. I'm just curious as a comparison.
I would love to see... I would actually love to see the Lambada... I would love to see a better Lambada.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about the other Lambada film. They do not use the song Lambada, nor do they dance the Lambada in the other Lambada, because I believe
so they had the name but not the song, and this one has the song but not the name.
Exactly. And I mean, the story here, I'll just give you a little bit more of it here. You said that this is, a Golan Golbus, kind of thing. So basically, the producer writer of this is Menem Golan, and he comes obviously with Yoram Globus, and so they have that studio we've done a lot of different movies about, and they basically, him and his cousin, they churn out like 125 movies in the 80s, right? So it's like all the Chuck Norris movies, everything that we've really done in the show. But in 87, things start going bad for Canon Films. They kind of have all these flops like Superman 4 and Master of the Universe, which we also did in the show. They are facing bankruptcy. And basically Golan says, you know what? It's all Globus's fault. And he leaves to start his own company, and the cousins don't speak anymore. But then when Lambada becomes this phenomenon, both of them are racing into production to make this their savior movie.
So wait a minute. So the two Lambada movies, one is Golan and one is Globus?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's incredible.
So then Globus goes, my film's going to be released on May 4th. And then Golan's like, mine will be released on April 6th. And then there are like these lawsuits. That's how Lambada is pulled from the name. And then Golan gets the song, and then Globus does not get the song. And then Golan takes out a 2-page ad in Variety announcing that the Forbidden Dance is going to open in March. And then and it's in Variety. It says, I'm proud and honored to have had the opportunity to create the one and only original Lambada film that truly depicts the Lambada dance. And then Globus is like, fuck, I got to release mine at the same time. And so, so
that makes so much more sense than why these exist. It's because it seems like it's personal.
Yes. And so basically,
it feels like antagonistic towards each other, not just randomly two people came up with the same idea.
It's the guys who basically have created trash, both chasing the same trash and ethics.
Awesome.
And basically, Lambada, I think because of the name recognition, makes $2.9 million on opening weekend, opening at number 8. Meanwhile, the Forbidden Dance makes $721,000 and comes in 14th place. So, Lambada wins. Lambada always is winning.
Here's the reality. The audience wins. The audience wins with two different Lambada movies.
Obviously, look, there's so much to break down here, but I think that what we understand is this movie worked. It stopped and protected the rainforest. It has created so many great things. And we had some problems with it, but there are people out there that think this is a perfect movie. It is now time for second opinions.
The movie was a piece of shit, yet this person recommends it. Tell me, what is the message? Maybe that art is subjective. I need a second opinion.
You'll be happy to know that there are less than 1,000 reviews for this film. So this is not a film that's really broken through, but 82% of them are 5-star reviews. And Mishi in 2018 writes, I loved this movie as a teen. As an adult, still a good movie. Touches on a few ecological issues too, which is what pulled me to it as a teen. Recommend watching. 5 stars. A few ecological issues? What are the? I mean, one, it just seems like don't destroy the. It doesn't seem like it gets into the nitty gritty in any way beyond.
No, we're not getting into like fossil fuels or anything else other than just like the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah, it really is the ozone layer and the destruction of the rainforest, which in this time period
was the thing.
The only climate change level event. You know, we're not talking about clean coal here.
No, yeah, this is. I don't even really understand the plan just to burn it all down. It does seem like that's a waste of.
Well, that's the thing that's so funny is like this kind of a movie. Like, you know, your Saturday Night Fevers, your dance type, your Dirty Dancing. It really is about the dance that really allows you to become yourself or to dance your own steps or to win the contest. But in this case, winning the contest means saving the rainforest. It is, the stakes are so big. The movie exists on such a small street level that its message is massive.
Well, and the idea, ideally, since they're burning it down, my thought is that it's probably for like cattle ranching or agriculture in some way. So this is the company that they're boycotting. They're like, don't eat meat. So is it also a movie that
they say that the company, that company, their products are in your supermarkets? And I was like, whoa, are they a food company?
I mean, like, again, it's when I'm looking at why you're burning down the rainforest, you're talking about mining for gold or copper or oil, agriculture. It doesn't seem like, but again, we have to, that's why we need the prequel about petrocoal, like the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of this film. This movie from Akbar is a little sexually charged, written in April 14th of 2002. Akbar writes, "This was the most sensuous movie I've ever seen. When you try to be sensuous, it often doesn't work. But when you make a movie like this one and allow a talent to express, the results are here in this movie. Bow wow."
Ew.
5 stars.
Ew,
I wish it hadn't ended with bow wow.
5 stars.
I can't right now, Paul.
And I will just end with Sweet Cherry for You on IMDb, who gave it 10 out of 10 stars. And Sweet Cherry says, although this movie obviously didn't attract many viewers, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen with music and dance. The forbidden dance is not only entertaining for the viewers, but it also lets everyone know that there are problems in the world that people need to think about, such as the rainforest issue. 10 stars. The rainforest issue. Yes, we are not talking about the rainforest issue. So, I mean, I will say on some level, releasing a mainstream movie as that is the message. It's not to save, like you said, not to save the rec center, not to save something. It's like, it's a big issue. And I do think that that's probably the boldest part of it.
I would say for a Globus and Golem kind of movie to have it have an ecological message is kind of shocking.
Yeah. And, the ozone hole has been healed.
Yeah, so there we go.
Its way to healing.
We did it.
I guess because of this movie.
I guess this movie's mission accomplished on the aircraft carrier.
I will say I did hear that Joa did fly in an F-16 jet with a snake and put the snake to where the hole in the ozone was and sucked it closed.
Brother.
I mean, that snake can suck out venom, it can suck out broken bones, and it can fix the ozone layer. We just got to get Joe up there with the snake.
I do just want to more time,
please,
remind everybody that at the audition, not at the final, but at the audition, the judge's name is Mama Coconut. that was important to me. I want to foreground that. And I know I said she's wearing an Amy Sherman Palladino hat earlier because this character appears to be dropped in. I believe she is genuinely Kid Creole's manager or something because
first of all, her energy, Mama Coconut's energy while watching that and also like looking at Kid Creole, like it was so fascinating. In fact, like it was like she was so happy.
Yes.
She was so lit up inside that I couldn't, to your point, it felt like she never been on screen before. She just looked so happy to be there. Certainly wasn't playing any sort of discernment or wasn't sort of reminding us of the stakes of this really intense audition.
Once again, the dance captivated everyone, including Mama Coconut.
Right, but Mama Coconut was also seemed captivated by our villain's dance.
Oh,
like she was
okay.
just seemed so like there was no critical eye from her.
I think she was happy to be in a movie.
Let me tell you. Can I just tell you? Just again, we're talking about a real person here. Mama Coconut is now the lead singer of this band is August Darnell. All right, and Mama Coconut is now Darnell's wife. I believe the Coconuts were the Kid Creole's Kid Creole, and the Coconuts, I believe, are the female singers. Okay, so Darnell's now wife, Eva Tudor Jones, was Mama Coconut for more than 20 years, and now she manages all of their operations, and they're still on tour. You can go see them this year. As a matter of fact, they're in Europe right now as we speak. There's a lot going on in the coconut world. Oh. I will say this, June. I know that you said that you needed to speak a little bit about the sexiest kiss you've ever seen on film, when Jason and Nisa kiss, and how they really are sucking in lips there.
It was disgusting.
Wait, when? I don't remember.
They're on a bed. Maybe it was when they were in Carmen's apartment.
Yeah, I think that's when it happens, right?
Oh, okay.
It was so disgusting. And it was like there's no tongue because they kept on, there was like a side view. And so we just kept on watching their faces, their lips mash into each other, open mouths, like sort of like, two fish going at each other.
Sure.
But I'm going to use this word. I hate to say this, but it looked so dry.
Oh,
It looked like two dry mouths, like fish on the sand, kind of like
the kiss that I got that I was very disturbed by. There's a kiss during the dance sequence where
why so much kissing during the dance sequence?
Where he puts her onto the ground lays her down on the floor of a nightclub and kisses her on the ground. I was like, this is disgusting. Get out of there. You guys both need a shower now. Jesus.
It was so gross. So gross.
Would you recommend people watch this film?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed talking to you two about it, and Paul, I do feel like we enjoyed it last night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is such the wrong word to use, but we watched it and we had some laughs.
We definitely watched the movie.
We definitely watched it, and it wasn't too long.
It wasn't too long. At 1 hour and 35.
If it had been even 10 more minutes longer, I would have hated it. But it really
it's just the right length.
It really was the right length, and it wasn't and I'd say most of the movie is a montage.
Yeah.
So you really don't have to pay complete attention.
No, and then sometimes that's when characters will say something like, was that established? No, it wasn't. And again, the MVP for me is, of course, Joa. Today's episode, of course, is, to support the rainforest, just like the movie. I think we need to start, kind of putting a post-credits tag on our show. It's dedicated to the rainforest. Well, I guess, so let's make that a special promise.
I would love that.
And listeners, if you have any money left over after pledging your financial support to the rainforest, you can pledge your support to How Did This Get Made by buying a t-shirt designed for this very episode. You can check out all of our merch. Just go to hdtgm.com. But for this episode, we do have a t-shirt design that can be made into a sticker or a sweatshirt, whatever you want. It's like a newspaper personal ad that says, Jason baby needs a Swayze. Just a guy who likes to dance, looking to learn the exotic lambada, care of HDTGM. Yeah. It doesn't really read as funny as it is, but it is great. We'll put the link to the shirt in this show's notes. And for all of our t-shirt designs, like I said, just click on that merch link. You can get it made into a mug, a backpack, a sweatshirt, whatever you want. We are back at Largo April 1st. If you don't know what movie we're doing on April 1st and you got tickets, well, just check out the website. But I'll tell you right here, too. It's the Pierce Brosnan action flick Live Wire. As always, if you have a correction or omission from this episode, leave me a voicemail at 619-PAULASK or write a comment on our Discord at discord.gg/HDTGM, and I'll respond to your messages next week on Last Looks. Jason will also join me to chat about my visit to the Jackass 5-set, Nirvana the band, the movie. Yeah, we recorded this a little while ago, and some TV shows that we are currently loving. Remember, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please make sure you are subscribed to our feed and have automatic downloads turned on in the show settings. It helps us, and we appreciate it a lot. Lastly, a huge thank you to our behind-the-scenes team. I'm talking about our producers, Scott Sani and Molly Reynolds, our engineer, Casey Holford, our social media manager, Zoe Applebaum, and our intern, Quinn Jennings, and we'll forever be thankful to the one and only Avril Halley. That's all I got, people. I'll see you next week on Last Looks. Bye for now.